Hi everyone, it's Sam, NFTstatistics, and this is your proof daily NFT countdown. I'm sorry I didn't do a show yesterday. You know I love to do the daily show. We call it daily for a reason. I actually got invited to New York very last minute. Kevin was going to host a panel for Christie's. He couldn't make it, so they asked me to do it, and I got to host a panel with Tyler Hobbs and Snowfro. It was awesome. Hopefully we will get that recording so that you can see it soon. But a lot to talk about today, and really going to focus on art. If you want to hear about art NFTs, this is a good show for you. I kind of like it that way to get with so much happening in the world of art. But let's dive right in. Market overview. Volumes were down a fair bit. Kind of one of the lowest volume days that we've seen in a very long time. Blur had 62% market share of volume. Large cap index had a rough day a couple days ago, but bounced back a little bit yesterday. And that was largely because Azuki bounced back, really kind of dipped down to the low fives. And now we're back up at like 5.6, something like that for Azuki. Also some strength in Pudgy Penguins as it kind of pushes back towards 4 ETH. In terms of art projects, there was not a whole lot of volume outside of Gumbo, which was the curated project that launched yesterday. We're going to talk about that too. But outside of that, not a whole lot of trades. There was a Meridian sale for 6.4 ETH. Just a really awesome color palette. I thought that was really cool. And then a really nice QQL sold for 3.8 ETH. That's in the upper right. And the lower left is a Factura by Mathias Isaksen, who we will talk about. He's the artist from Gumbo. He had a couple sales on Factura, which is part of GM DAO. And then in the lower right, a Salo bots sold for 1 ETH. Second thing to talk about, Iconic Moments did a mint with basically the estate of Jackson Pollock. Here's an article in Decrypt saying why, with Jackson Pollock's historic paint-splattered floor being immortalized as an NFT. Just let's go over just a couple of the bullet points about it. This mint includes both prints and NFTs of the floor of Jackson Pollock's studio. Jackson Pollock is an abstract painter. He would put the canvas on the floor and really work around that. He's kind of iconic, one of the first people who really put abstract art on the radar screen. And it was controversial at the time, so really a pioneer in that sense. The mint was at 0.8 ETH. You had to own an Iconic Moments NFT in order to mint it. The official print, though, only goes to the minters. So buying on secondary does not get you an official print. And I think as a result, we saw the price go down pretty quickly just because the price calibrated to not having the print that goes with it. There were 4 pieces. So there are 125 editions of 4 pieces each, and each piece would get you a different print sent in the mail. Beyond the Edge holders are also going to receive access to art from art collaborations, ordinals, and other releases in the future. So this NFT will serve as a pass to other art. And they did say that Lucrece was going to be one of the first artists they were going to work with. Here is a look at the prints, and it's just it's very cool art. Like these prints are basically taking exact replicas of the floor from Jackson Pollock. So it has all the paint from basically the splatter painting that was all over there. A little bit more about Jackson Pollock. He said this is from before, of course, he passed away. My painting does not come from the easel. I prefer to tack the unstretched canvas to the hard wall or the floor. I need the resistance of a hard surface. On the floor, I'm more at ease. I feel near, more part of the painting, since this way I can walk around it, work from the 4 sides, and literally be in the painting. I think you really can see that when you look at these prints right here with the chair. Now, again, after it minted, you did see the price go down to a 0.8 ETH mint. The floor right now is 0.58, and we did have sales a little bit lower down around 0.5. Here's a picture that was tweeted, just kind of the detail that goes into these prints. And then here's Lucrece saying that he's going to be part of this collaboration and the first artist that is going to be celebrated and given to where work will be available to the holders of that NFT. So very cool stuff. Congrats to everybody involved there. Third thing to talk about, Gumbo, which is the newest Art Blocks curated. Remember, Art Blocks has Art Blocks Presents. And with Art Blocks Presents, basically, a lot of people can do it. There's not a curation board for that. The Art Blocks curated projects are the ones that the curation board, they believe it's up to 20 people at Art Blocks that they decide this kind of meets our criteria for being innovative, new, or whatever the criteria are that they're focused on. This one is called Gumbo by Mathias Isaksen. Mathias Isaksen is a Norwegian generative artist. There are a lot of generative artists from Norway. The Harvest. The artist pair there, he is from Norway. Kjetil Golid of Archetypes is also from Norway. Very cool to see another Norwegian artist. Here is a look at the art A little bit about Mathias. He's a generative artist and a creative coder based in Oslo, driven by a do-it-yourself ethos and a disregard for established practices. His work explores balancing opposing qualities and finding unconventional ways to apply commonplace techniques and methods. And I thought one of the coolest things about this interview, one of the coolest things, he didn't start generative art until 2020. So he's only been doing this for about 3 years. And he actually said it was a TikTok video. It was a TikTok video that inspired him. Here's a screenshot from that TikTok video that basically inspired him to start to recreate art using through coding. So very cool stuff. I'm inspired now. I want to go figure this out. This is kind of cool stuff. And I can see where this is a piece that someone could do generatively. So very cool stuff. He did do mint through GMDAO, which he launched in July of 2022, 999 pieces, currently has a 0.4 ETH floor, and that was called Factura. So this is an artist that collectors are familiar with. When he was talking about GUMBO, he said at its core, it explores the diversity of form that can be achieved by combining really simple shapes, spheres, donuts, boxes, and cylinders. And despite the basic components, the final arrangements end up familiar. They look like space stations. Others look like internal organs. He also really likes to play with texture. As he says, celebrate it both as a reference to the material world and especially as something with uniquely digital characteristics. How did this mint do? Unfortunately, it minted out at 1.1. So that's one of the strongest mints that we have seen, 395 pieces, one of the strongest mints we've seen in our blocks in a long time. And you had some initial trades kind of that 1 to 1.5 range, but it became pretty clear within a few hours that the price was kind of going to settle a little bit lower and then went down to about a 0.6 ETH floor, 0.5 ETH floor, which is where we are right now. Looking at 3 of the top trades, you had sales as high as 1.88 ETH, 1.75, and 1.5 ETH. And it's kind of interesting that the grails here are some of the more basic, less colorful palettes. And we see that a lot. Like there's something about like duochrome or monochrome pieces that doesn't, a lot of collections tend to sell really well. I personally prefer the colorful stuff. That's just me, but still nice to see a couple grail sales here. And hopefully that floor price can bounce back. Lastly, let's talk about a few notable sales. And we are going to start with this CryptoPunk, this Wildlife CryptoPunk, because there was this Sotheby's auction that ended, and this was more of the 3 Arrow Capital NFTs. They're just kind of gradually selling, and these sales are going just much better than I would have ever expected. But there is this wild white punk that sold for 133.7 ETH on Sotheby's, and this is a mind-boggling price. Why is this mind-boggling? Because if you just go to Larva Labs, you can get what I think are better wild white punks for 99 ETH. You can pay 38 less ETH, and I think that these ones are better. So that's kind of interesting. Like normally you get real discounts on Sotheby's because you have to pay more fees and it's sometimes just easier to do it online. But here you actually had Sotheby's fetching a really strong premium. I'd be interested to see who that buyer was. You also had 2 Fidenzas sales that had really, really nice prices, really nice Fidenzas, but this one on the left sold for 147 ETH, the one on the right for 127 ETH. I personally prefer the one on the right. That's just me. But yeah, 2 great sales and then 2 great ringer sales. Kind of in that 70 to 80 ETH range. So a lot of really nice sales that came out of the Sotheby's auction. On Manifold, a piece called Am I Dreaming by Deekay Motion sold for 52.5 ETH. As with everything Deekay Motion, you got to see the animation. So go find that, and look for the actual animated piece because none of this does it justice. Unfortunately, I do these shows using Google Slides, and for some reason, animation isn't that great on Google Slides. As far as Deekay Motion's explanation of this piece, do I find myself in the late night or the early morning, unsure of the passing time? Within the limits of my room, I feel confined as I try to express my dreams. However, I experience a sense of freedom when I have the opportunity to create my own world. When I fall asleep, my dreams become incredibly vivid and real. Upon waking up, I come to the realization it was all a dream, yet I continue to chase after that dream. And this piece basically goes from night to day. It shows the artist kind of animating right there. So very cool stuff from Deekay Motion. As we know, one of the absolute top animators, top artists in the space, has had sales as high as 310 ETH, 225 ETH. His most recent one was at 48.1 ETH in the lower right. So this was a nice little step up from that. Last piece to talk about, this piece called Sacrificium, I think that's how you say it, by Cowboy Killer for 4 ETH. He says this piece is a digital composite about personal sacrifice for something you love. The traditional take on sacrifice is to have the human sacrificing the animal. But in this image, the human is injured and bleeding while the dog is unharmed. Interesting stuff. Go check that piece out as well. The top sale on Super Rare, Cowboy Killer, has had a lot of great sales, kind of that 2.4 to 4 ETH range. So this was at the high end of the range. So congrats to him for that. Love to see it. That is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll continue to bring them to you as many days, as many weekdays as we possibly can. Give us a like below. Tell us what you think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and join the Telegram group. You can see the Telegram link below. Best way to hear about the show. But we'll be back, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.